So in this example, we had a very simple room structure. We had only 2 rooms for each level. While this is indeed not the case in reality. In reality, we'll have an architectural plan, and the organization of spaces is much more complicated. Now I'll give an example on a simple building consisting of just 2 rooms, 1 living room and a toilet, and a small kitchen. So I want to divide this house into segments. Now the division is not straightforward, as you've seen, but we need to think that we need to divide this house, and that will be our lowest level of the location breakdown structure. We need to divide the house such that work or the activities of each task are distributed equally, and that space is small enough for 1 crew to work in, and not smaller than that. So that needs a bit of thinking. It's not a straightforward decision, but I will attempt to develop my own location breakdown structure for this house. So let's presume that this 1 level house or 1 story house represents the house that we had in our conceptual perspective. Let's presume it represents these houses in zones 2 and 5, the 1 story houses. And we want a more detailed lowest level of the hierarchy, where we find out the actual segmentations of rooms or spaces within each level. So what we will do now, we will use OnScreen takeoff software to segment the floors and to quantify all the items within each floor. So starting with OnScreen software, the very first thing we want to do is to make sure we are using metric system. We go to Tools, then Options, New Bid, and make sure the base measurement is set to millimeters. Click OK. File, New Bid. Give your project a name, so let's call this Villas 2 and 5, for example. And then we need to insert the drawings that relates to these villas or to this villa. I will click on Insert New Image Page. Then I will locate my villa. My villa is here in a dedicated folder, Drawings folder. So currently I only have 1 drawing, 1 architectural drawing, presuming this is only a conceptual plan. So the architectural drawing will suffice. And this is a 1-story villa, so it's just 1 plan. And I click OK. And there you go. So my plan now is ready for takeoff. Before I start takeoff, I need to split this villa into zones or into areas. And this will be my lowest level of the location breakdown structure hierarchy. I go to zones and click on plus. So my first zone, let me call my zones area. So area 1. I'll give my area a pattern, crosshatch. I'll try with 50 spacing. So let's see how does this look like. Yeah, that's a bit dense, so we'll change its density now by double clicking. Let this be 300. So yeah, that looks better. So now I will start segmenting my plan into zones. So I would say, for instance, this is one zone. This room with its toilet is one zone. This room with this balcony is another zone, and the living room and the kitchen and the reception area, all that will be another zone. So I will have 3 zones for this villa. All right, and again, this is an arbitrary decision. You may argue I'm right or wrong. You may decide to have, instead of 3 zones, you may decide to have 4 zones. So this room will be a zone, and the toilet will be another zone, and this room will be another zone, the balcony could be another zone, and this area could be another zone, and the reception itself could be another zone. But for simplicity, I'll just have 3 areas in this example. Now, how would this affect our plan and durations? Basically, the number of areas will have no effect on the amount of work to be done, but it will affect the way work is organized. And generally, the rule of thumb is that the more zones we have, the more areas we have, the more a task is split into activities. The more zones you have, the more overlapping you could have between a task and another. So the guys who work on brickwork, on this whole area, for example, will keep the other crew, say the plasterboard crew, idle until they are done with this whole area, and that's my scenario. But in the other scenario, you could decide that once they're done from this room, they will go to the toilet, and the other crew could come in their place. So you could have, when you have more splitting, you could have more overlapping. And indeed, you need to make a wise decision such that you do not split this project into very, very small segments. You end up with an unmanageable project plan. And sometimes the physical constraints doesn't allow you to do that, actually.